Moving along this morning with our availabilities, we are now joined by Jimmie Johnson, driver of the number 48 Lowe's Chevrolet. A unique stat for Jimmie. Sunday, he will make his 400th start during the 55th running of the Daytona 500, and Lowe's has been your sponsor for all 400, and you and Jeff Gordon are the only two drivers to have the same sponsor for all 400 starts.
It's awesome. Yeah, thank you. Time flies by. It's hard to imagine 400 starts already. And so proud of the fact that every one of those starts has been with Lowe's on the side of the race car. They're an amazing sponsor, and look forward to many, many more great years together.
All right, I know we have lots of questions for Jimmie, so we'll go ahead and get started. And we'll start with Nate, Kenny, Randy, and then Hembry over here. Go ahead, Nate.
Nate Ryan, USA Today Sports. Jimmie, Danica Patrick obviously starting on the pole Thursday, and I'm sure the team is maybe wrestling with how much are they going to race in Thursday's race. I know you've been in that situation before, having been on the pole here twice, and especially in 2002, even more comparable perhaps to her situation as a rookie. How did you approach it, I guess, that year, and how do you think they should approach it? I mean, is it okay for them to just park and not risk wrecking the car and losing that starting position, or do you try to take as much of an opportunity to learn as much as you can?
Well, it's really up to them, and they're not the only team facing that decision. I mean, I think all the cars that are secured a spot are trying to balance that right now. It just isn't worth it. We all know everybody's low on car count. If you're in that front, if you're fortunate enough to be on the front row, and do you really want to push it? I mean, there's no need to. So it's going to be a fine balance, and there's going to be a lot of internal struggles and arguments with drivers, teams, crew chiefs especially, trying to give their driver the direction they want to go. So whatever she decides to do, it's to her best interest, and we've got our own stuff to worry about on the 48 car, and we're wrestling with the same notion. But in 2002, my situation was a bit different. If I didn't win the pole, I wouldn't have been in the 500. I had an incident on the back straightaway where I was forced below the yellow line, and I had to serve a penalty for it, and I wouldn't have made the race. If we qualified third, I wouldn't have been in the show, so I would have been down a lap. So it was very nice to have locked in and had that in my back pocket. So we'd be here at 399 starts instead. At that point in time, we really didn't have a concern about car count. We raced, and I was trying to learn, and it was real important for me to get every lap that I could. And sure, we didn't want to crash the car, but we were in that old-style car for a long period of time, and cars would come from the fall Talladega race if you made it, and you'd carry them into Daytona and kind of update them a little bit as the rules changed. But we had a much deeper inventory of cars to pull from.
All right, let's go Kenny, right up front. Kenny Bruce here. Thank you.
Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. Jimmie, a couple of things. Your 400th start, Richard Petty has finished with 1,100 and some starts, or something like 3 times more than what you had. Could you imagine making that many starts? And also, I don't think you've had a relevant finish here in several years. Is that something you think about at all, that maybe you ever go back and think maybe I'm not approaching this right or something?
Well, first of all, for the King, I mean, I think he had more opportunities to race than we do today, so that helps. But I don't know how many years of service he put in, but it's 20, 30. I still might be wrong. Definitely over 20, I would assume. It's just amazing. And all of the years that he put in helped build the sport what it is today. So I thank him for all 1,100 starts that he put in and the growth that he kind of spurred along within the sport. I doubt that any current driver will get to that number. Mark Martin's trying, and I'm not sure where he's at, but I assume he's pretty short still in that number count. But what was the other part? I've forgotten it.
Your finish here.
Oh, finishes here.
2006, I think when you had a good finish, I don't think you've been in the top 15 since then, maybe?
Yeah, the 500's been tough. I mean, I've won duels, I've won the shootout. We've been here in July and have been very competitive and finished in the top 3. But the 500, yeah, you're right. It's been a trophy, and I think I might have a 10th or something. But I remember, my memory says a lot of DNFs. And, last year's was about as bad as it gets. Leading the first lap crash, and that wasn't a good one. So we'll hopefully make, 2.7 miles this year before anything happens.
All right, we'll go Randy and then Hembry. Go ahead, Randy.
Hey, Jimmy. Randy Kovitz, Kansas City Star. What did that 2006 Daytona 500 championship mean to you? I mean, it did trigger your first championship season. Just what does winning this race mean, and what do you remember about the follow-up? You know, the whole media tour that follows it.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I wanted to be an elite company. I want my dreams were to try to be the best in the sport. You know, the way you do that is by winning big events and championships, and that was prior to a championship. So, first realistic goal on my list was a 500 win or a Brickyard win, and I think we were able to get both that year. So it was, a big year in a lot of ways. And we all know the history of the sport, the history of this track, and dream and wish and hope that you can come in here and win. And the way the race turned out, I've drove a very smart race and stuck to a certain mindset. I was able to get some help on the last lap to maintain the lead and defend my position to the finish line. And I was so excited and had a big night with my crew guys. And then I think at 7 a.m. things kicked off over here at the Speedway. And as much as I loved that day, that was one of the most painful days in Jimmie Johnson's history. I may have celebrated a bit too much the night before. And then dealing with that and being asked the same question over and over and trying to look awake and alert and happy, man, it was a lot of pain. I was having a lot of pain, but it was worth it.
What about the next few days? Were they whisked you off?
Yeah, I had no idea what that media tour was like, and I can't remember exactly, but I assume New York, and I don't know if we went to the car wash or not after that one. But I had heard about and watched, I think not long before, Ward Burton won, and I remember seeing Ward Burton everywhere the following 2 days. And I thought, man, that's so cool, I want to do that. And then, halfway through, I'm like, I just want to go home. Is this thing over yet? It's amazing that one race packs such a punch and can do so much for a team, driver, sponsor, and it means so much within the sport.
Mike?
MikeHembrySpeed.com. Jimmy, from what you've seen of this car so far, how do you imagine the planning, the strategy over the last 5 or 10 laps Sunday is going to change?
The cars look a lot like the 05, 06 car to me. So I feel like track position is going to be important. You're going to have to race for it. I was surprised to see the middle lane work so well in the Unlimited. So defending your position is going to be important. Before, you could fight your way up and just kind of sit in the first couple rows and let the race kind of evolve from there. But it seems to me that the outside lane does carry a bit more momentum. They can stop the inside lane, and if you work your way to the front, you can't just be content sitting in the bottom lane or really even the middle lane. You might have to move around from the head of the line, and even if you're a row or two back, there's an opening. Stay open-minded, keep your eyes open, and move around it to help stay up front, because track position is going to be key on that last restart. You're going to need to be in the first couple rows to have a shot at it.
All right, we're going to go Viv and then Newton. Just a heads up, we have a press conference coming in right after this, and we are close on our time with Jimmie, so I'm going to get as many of you in as I can. Go ahead, Viv.
Hi, Viv Bernstein, New York Times. Just two questions. One is on the track drying system. Is there any advantage to a driver to start racing sooner and have a shorter delay? Physical advantage, mental advantage, to get out racing quicker? And the other thing is, do drivers think Danica has any sort of weight advantage because she's lighter?
No, it doesn't hurt to have things turned around quicker. I think, sure, it helps the driver some. It helps the teams. Hopefully we're at the track for a shorter period of time. It's just good for everyone, especially getting into the next work week. But more importantly for the fans, the viewing audience at the track and at home. I think it's key to get the track stride faster, and very happy with that. And the way the weight works, I think they adjust it and they put weight on cars where you have lighter drivers. So it all balances out.
All right, David Newton.
Me?
Okay. It's okay, go ahead.
Yes. Jorge Keklin, Fox Deportes. You came out very well on the pre-shows in Spanish. Adrian Fernandez says that your Spanish is perfect, so congratulations.
Yeah, right. I can order a beer and a taco. That's about it.
It is my thought that considering how many drivers in NASCAR have raced Formula, and with this new car, with the adjustment of the suspensions in the back and the weight that they have changed and the aero package, that the Formula drivers perhaps have an advantage, or they know a little bit more about how to set up the car. Will you agree with that?
Well, I think the aero balance is helpful for the Formula drivers, just because the vehicles they raced in had so much downforce that any and the sensation that comes with downforce. The car is very secure and stable, and you can drive the car hard. I think the Gen 6 car will help the open wheel guys some. I'm not sure it will overcome the advantage that a NASCAR driver has, that's always been in a sedan or in a stock car, but it is directionally helpful for the open wheel drivers, definitely.
All right, let's go to David Newton, and then we're going to end over here with Mike, and then we're going to have to stop. So we apologize, guys.
Yeah, David Newton, ESPN.com. Jimmie, you showed us a picture in your that didn't get in your book where you were leaving Talladega. I guess it was last year.
Yeah.
Does that kind of sum up how you feel about plate racing right now? Because I think you tweeted after the race the other night that you're trying to like it, but you're just not sure.
Yep. No, it is. I mean, it's such a balance too, because one win and you're in victory lane and it's the coolest rush, because you're gambling the whole race, and when it hits, I mean, it's a lot like hitting it in a casino. I mean, the rush is amazing, but it's a different kind of racing, and there's a lot for especially for the 48 team. We've had a lot of torn up race cars lately, and it's starting to get a little old. But we'll keep racing, we'll keep building cars, and be out there trying to get all the points we can.
All right, Mike.
Hi, Jimmie.
Hey.
Going into this race, it seems there's some curiosity whether or not some of the veterans will draft with Danica. Will you draft with Danica?
When I was a rookie coming in, Jeff told me quickly, he said, look, there may be some of that going on where guys won't work with rookies, but the biggest reason that Jeff said that I wouldn't work with a rookie is to make the wrong moves. Mm-hmm. He goes, make the right moves. Give people a reason to follow you, and it won't matter. And once the race progresses and gets going, you really forget about paint jobs and who's in what car. And it's who's making the right moves, who's going to help me, because you can't do it on your own out there. It gets real selfish and greedy. And if somebody is making the right decision and the right move, you're going to go with them. Doesn't matter how much experience they have. So that's really the key. And I'm sure at times, and I know even with Jeff telling me that, I felt like, wow, nobody worked with me. They'd much rather go with the veteran. Nah. The veteran was making the right decision. That's why they went with the veteran.
In terms of making the right moves, what types of things are you going to be watching her do, especially during practice and Thursday in the race?
Well, I mean, she has shown through the Nationwide Series that she's competitive and she can get in there and mix it up and kind of hold a straight wheel in the important situations, and led laps and has been up front. So I think from to a large degree, she's great. She's there. She's fine. It's really about when you get close to the front, and if you make a move and the wrong move, you lose 15 spots. You don't want to make those decisions. You don't want to be back in the eye of the storm. So if she's making the good offensive moves to move forward, you stay with that person. You stay with her. If it's a move that hasn't worked over your own experience and past history, like, nope, go ahead, and then back they go and start all over again. You just don't want to be in that position. So once you get some track position, and you finally relax a little bit and know that you're up there with guys that are playing the game right and being mindful of, it's a long race. When you get in the eye of the storm, everybody's so eager to get out of there that it's a little bit chaotic.